Well, happy Sunday, Tennessee Valley. Of course, one thing that we're going to be watching as we go into our Monday and beyond is the wind speeds. They're actually fairly calm, if not light, going into your Monday, but that's not necessarily good news. And let's talk about why that's not so good news. Is because we've got these little red dots. Those are some of the wildfires that we have out there in place. And those red dots means that we're seeing some smoke and haze. And without the wind to mix up the air, it becomes stagnant, trapping that smoke and haze close to the surface and leading to some issues with air quality. So keep that in mind. Notice here where we have the pinker colors showing up in northern Dade, Walker, Catoosa counties. That's an indication of some lower air quality issues there. So if you're sensitive to that type of thing, just keep in mind the air quality not great around the Chattanooga area thanks to some of those wildfires and that smoke and haze. And it's something to be aware of as we go throughout the week. The only way to really get rid of that, and we need some rainfall to kind of help mix up the air. We just don't have a ton of that in the forecast here in the near term, but that may change coming up for us. But let me show you for the month of November, we're 5 days in, we're already running a rainfall deficit of over a half an inch of rain for the fall season. Going all the way back to September the 1st, we're running a rainfall deficit of almost 8 inches of rainfall. And for the year, we're talking about over 7 inches of rainfall as well. Of course, we just wrapped up the second driest September and October on record, so you get the idea. We desperately need some rainfall. Let me show you this a different way. Look at the rainfall totals over the year. You can see from January, February, it was a very wet year overall. Even for the summer months, we had several inches of rainfall each month coming across the area, and then things just drop off like a cliff as we get towards September and October, less than a half an inch there, and nothing, of course, for November so far. So that's why we're seeing the flash drought conditions really showing up. We've got that extreme drought that continues to expand across the Tennessee Valley, and it's happening quickly because that area you can see in red is the extreme drought. There's only one step ahead of that, and that's exceptional drought. You don't want to be exceptional when it comes to the drought, but we need some desperate rainfall to kind of cure that. So with this drought, one of the things that affects is the high fire danger out there across the area. Another thing that we watch out for is how it affects our lawns and gardens out there. You're probably noticing and maybe even hearing that crunch when you step on the grass. Not good news there. Of course, the farms are being affected there with the crops. And yes, even our fall foliage is being affected by some of this drought conditions across the area. And something else to think about in some of the neighborhoods, those low water levels are leading to some low creeks and streams. And that's now becoming an issue for certain fish and animals that are beginning to feel the impacts there of this situation. So this is something that we desperately need to cure, and without any beneficial rainfall, it's not going to happen. Now, speaking of fall foliage, I want to show you this amazing fall color photo sent in from our very own Calvin Sneed earlier today from Lynn Cove. And you can see here some of the beautiful colors showing up there. And yeah, we still have some time to go catch some of that fall foliage because we're not seeing a lot of rain to help dampen those leaves out of the way. But over the next 7 days, I've talked about we need some rain. Notice these totals, a quarter to a half an inch. That would be amazing. And look at this. Beyond that, the overall weather pattern, a southern branch of the jet stream becoming active. That's a more El Nino sign, and we desperately could use that to get some of that rainfall into the area. Another thing we're going to be watching as we go into the coming days, a big warming trend moving our way. We've talked about this. We're talking near record high temperatures here, especially I think by Tuesday, forecasting 80, the record 80 degrees back in 2022. We're heading down into the 40s for you tonight. It's going to be quite warm, but that warming trend continues into the week with our next rain chance arriving just in time for the weekend.